Patrick Cook here. Welcome to session 34 of our Mastering Mandelbulb 3D Formulas tutorial series. Last couple sessions, we've been involved with the DEcombinate, and as you can see here, we got some pretty wild stuff going on here. All right. Now, so far, I've been over on the escape time, that is the 3D and the 4D formulas, and so far I've only mixed two formulas in the DEcombinate. All right, and just kind of as a recap here, you know, we were showing the min. All right, the min will show all of the bulbs. All right, all mixed in. The max will only show the portions of where the bulbs intersect with one another. All right, and then of course we had the inverse of max, which is where everything intersects together but the opposite, where they don't intersect together. This is all Boolean stuff. And then we had mix, okay? And this is only where the objects actually intersect with one another and produce a graphic. So that's pretty wild, okay? And we haven't even begun to touch the properties. We could go up here and we could be messing around with, well, Beth432 doesn't have any properties, but this one does. All right. So now, you know, we still have the ability to modify the properties. And so far in this entire series, I have not modified a single property, and I'm still getting some pretty crazy stuff. All right, but I'll tell you what, let's clean up. All right, and we're gonna take this a little bit further. All right, so let's recalculate that. We're back to our standard. I'm going to get back over to DEcombinate. All right, and I'm going to pick formulas, and I'm just picking anything. Trust me, I'm not planning what I'm doing here. Let's do bulb box, and formula number 1. I'm in DEcombinate now. Let's do, what's this? Quintic, and formula number 2, formula number 3. Let's do a 4D. Let's take Beth641. I don't know what this is going to look like. Formula number 4. Let's pick some. Oh, here, BT Pine. Sounds good. Formula number 5. I don't know. Oh, how about Rayman? Okay. Formula number 6. Let's get over to a 4DA. Menger 4. Now, here's my DEcombinate parts or sequence demarcation is at 2. That means that this formula right here is going to be sequence number 1, and formulas 2 through 6, because they're all assigned, will be formula sequence number 2. Let's run it and see what happens. Now, I have never run this before. This thing is going to take 2 minutes and 19 seconds to run. And I don't know what we're going to get. Now, we're not going to sit here and stare at each other for 2 minutes. But we're going to use this time to kind of recap a little bit. When it comes to DEcombinate, there are 2 important key pieces of knowledge to really keep track of. Piece number 1 is that you have the DEcomb down below here, where you can control the Boolean behavior of what's displayed on the screen. You can either show all the objects, even if they're mixed together, that's the min, or the max, you can show only where the two objects intersect with one another. Or you can do the inverse of the max, where you can show where all of the points or the pixels where the two objects don't intersect with one another. Or you can do the mix, where you show only the points where they're actually in identical orbits. Okay. So key knowledge number one is the DEcom, the combination min, max, mix. Concept number two is that your DEcombinate is split into two different sequences. The sequences are divided by the demarcation value that you pick at the top of the screen. Those two concepts will take you very far in working with the DEcombinate hybrid mode. And those are the two concepts which are probably the most difficult for people to really get their heads wrapped around. All right? All right. Now remember, you can run in DEcombinate, you can run it in with escape time, or you can run it with shape formulas, which is the dIFS, but you can't mix the two. All right? Okay. So I got something crazy on the screen, and it does not look very good at all. Welcome to Mandelbulb3D, which is a process of discovery. You just don't know what you're going to get until you try it. Now, I think I said somewhere, probably the first couple sessions, I said that working with the Mandelbulb3D application is a process of discovery. You discover configurations, Mandelbulb configurations. You discover them. And I think I also said, and you can probably quote me on this, that you're probably going to have 8 or 9 of the objects that you render in your screen you're not going to like. You're going to throw it away. And unfortunately, you're sitting there and you're watching the thing render and draw on the screen, and it finally completes, and you say, I don't like that at all. You know, that's just the nature of the beast. You probably won't get to a point where you can nail each one of these combinations of formulas and they all look great. You're probably never going to get there. I haven't been able to yet. Understanding the tools that you have to work with will get you to some very interesting graphical creations. It'll get you there sooner, but there's no guarantee that everything that you render on the screen is going to look great. This here does not look great. I don't like this. It wasn't even worth my time to render it. Fortunately, we were able to sit here and gab, so we kind of, but if you're sitting there and you're in that creative mood and it's late at night and you're out of coffee and then this renders and you don't like it at all. That is the nature of the Mandelbulb3D, because you just don't have the tools for you to be able to understand what the graphic is going to look like, because, and this is the irony of it, you can't predict what these graphics are going to look like, because this application gives you so many variables to work with. Alternate, you layer them, interpolate, you average them, and then you can modify the average values. DEcombinate, you've got multiple sets, you've got multiple Boolean operators. That's the DEcomb, the min, the max. Those are Boolean operators. And you've got all these properties that you can modify. I mean, I've got a Menger 4 up here. Look at all these properties here. And I ran this thing with all the properties that default values. I don't like it. Now, will I sit here and modify the properties? I could. I could open up the navigator and I could push this out to the navigator, and then I can start doing the properties and see what I get. Yes. The irony of the Mandelbulb3D fractal generator application, the irony of it is that you have so many creative possibilities and variables, most of which you're in control of. You have so many of them that much of the time you're going to get a graphic which you don't like. I'll leave you with this thought in this session. We'll pick this up, but I'll leave you with this thought in this session. The whole cool part of working with the Mandelbulb3D, the Mandelbulb fractal graphics, the whole cool part of it is that when you discover a graphic which is wow, and then your problem is, what do I do with it? Do I make it a still? Do I turn it into an animation? How do I save this so I can get back to it later? And then you find yourself tweaking the properties and maybe making it better, maybe making it worse. The whole fun, the whole creative fun of the Mandelbulb3D software application is you don't know when you're going to get a gem, and when you do, you usually don't know what to do with it. All right. We'll pick this up in the next session. I'll see you there.